Hey guys, right, so I apologize a little bit for the lighting here. It's kind of weird, but I thought it was okay for the last music video. And I wanted to talk about a number of things. There's so much in the news, but actually last night I broke my streak of making videos every day, but I'm still going to aim for making videos every day, just FYI. So please stick around for new content as often as I can make it. I mean, considering what I'm doing, I don't have many followers, so just hang in there. Anyway, I was absolutely delighted this morning to find that Marianne Williamson and Dave Rubin sat down together, and it was the most bizarre and interesting and wonderful interview that I've seen maybe this year. It's pretty close. I like Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin, I remember, was part of the Young Turks, and then he set off into his own dark web. They call it the dark web of the internet, but really, I mean, he seems kind of mainstream to me now at this point anyway. But he's sort of like Joe Rogan light, in the sense that he, I don't know, there is that Freedom Tunes. Freedom Tunes is this channel that does cartoons on YouTube, and they're talking about how, or like his character in Freedom Tunes always just goes, I agree with that. And that is really what he is. Whereas Joe Rogan, I mean, he's pretty easygoing as well, but a little bit more confrontational, which is odd because during this interview I was watching the live chat, and a lot of people were giving him crap about it, but actually he really pressed when Marianne Williamson was talking about reparations. And of course, I've talked about this in my channel before. She talks about paying reparations, and she doesn't really give a set figure, but she's talking about how it has to be exactly enough. And he was pressing her pretty well on those, and so it was very interesting interplay, especially on the policy point. However, apart from policy points where they did seem to argue, and Dave Rubin, okay, he's kind of right-wing. Everyone says he's leftist, but no, to be on the left is much further left than Dave Rubin right now. But when they talked about more personal things, like, well, I don't know, one comment during the live chat, well, anyway, about spirituality, love, and so on. But one comment during the live chat seemed to suggest that she didn't realize that Dave Rubin is also Jewish. You know, he's an Ashkenazi Jew, right? But it seems, of course, I'm assuming she knows that, right? I'm sure. Reuben is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, so if she doesn't know that, she doesn't really know much. Of course, she did misremember John Paul II's name, and so I thought that was kind of odd. If you're going to be in politics, and like that's when she got really big, was in the 80s, and I mean that's like the Jean Paul II era, you know. Kind of fruity, kind of weird, and but she really rolls with the memes, and she really plays off of that. And so she talks about Israel, and she brings up all of that. And she talks about how Berlin paid off all the Jews, and that sort of put everything to peace. And you know, we still haven't done that with America, with American slaves, and so on. But I think she's discrediting the fact that the Civil War resulted in the most casualties of any war that we fought, including World War II. And Dave Rubin really pointed, well, he didn't point out that exact fact to her, but at least said to her, you know, how are we going to come up with this money, and what is this all about? So we really need to, I mean, it seems like an empty promise, but he even asked her about empty promises, and the fact is, well, she just wants to win on a spiritual, metaphysical basis. Like, we're all supposed to buy into that and accept that. And I think it's odd, you know, I remember in 2012, everyone was excited about Mitt Romney. Oh, it's a big Mormon candidate. And here's Marianne Williamson. She's like the first big New Age candidate. And I call her New Age, and people might argue with me for saying that, but that's exactly what she is. Because we're in places where you find A Course in Miracles, in places where you find that book, you also find tarot and crystals, etc., etc., etc. There was that one beautiful question at the end of the interview, like asking her about how does she feel about crystals? And she says, well, I don't believe any of that stuff. But of course, crystals have energy. So the question is, can crystal energy defeat Trump? I don't think so. Over and out.